Welcome back. If you're new here, hello. My name is Haley. This is my channel At Home with Haley, and today we are pressure washing a rug. So you'll see I just showed I have some Zep pet carpet cleaner that I'm going to be using a little later, but I went ahead and poured some in this mop bucket. I went ahead and got the rug out here on my deck. I will say to start this video, nothing went as planned. Nothing went right. So, just be prepared for that. But what I'm doing right now, this is the back of this rug, and I just wanted to clean the back off first just to get anything that, has settled into the rug and kind of gone into this backing, try to get that out. I didn't spend a lot of time here. I do speed this up because, I spend more than a few minutes on it. But anyway, you'll see like there's a few spots on the back of this rug. There was actually a few crushed bugs. That's really gross. So I guess they could get under there and someone would step right there. I don't know. So it's disgusting. Real life here. But yeah, I'm just getting the back of this cleaned off. So as I am starting, let me back up. Before I brought this out here, I thought, maybe I should pressure wash the deck first because, if it's dirty, then I'm cleaning a rug on it and it's just going to get the rug dirty. But then I look at the deck and I'm like, it looks fine. It looks all right. As soon as it gets wet, you can see like it's not fine. So as I'm going around this, if I hit the wood, there's like a noticeable difference in the wood. And I'm like, that's just all that dirt that's coming off of there is all going to get on this rug, and there'll be no point in me cleaning it because it'll just be getting dirty as I'm doing it. So I, at this point, had decided in my head, I've got to pressure wash this deck. And you can already see right there on the rug. It's like dirtier than it was when I brought it out here because the water had hit the boards and gotten it wet and got whatever was on the boards on there. So I do end up having to pressure wash this deck. I do not include all that in this video, so we're skipping ahead. I'm going to post another video of me pressure washing the deck, and you'll see that there. But you can see here where I pressure washed and the dirt shot up onto the rug. I probably should have moved it farther away. Number one, I should have pressure washed the deck first, then brought the rug out and done it the proper way and just taken the time and not tried to be, moving forward as fast as I was trying to. Hindsight's 20/20, so now we know. So hopefully that'll help you if you decide to do this. But now I've got to get all this dirt that wasn't on the rug before off. The rug wasn't bad. It's not like it had terrible stains or anything. It was just worn in certain places. We have a sectional, so like where it used to be under the sectional looked really clean, but then the area right in front, right at the corner of where people would have like sat there and their feet would have been on it, looked more worn and a little more dirty. And I've run a carpet cleaner over this several times. It just doesn't do it. So, and I felt like the fibers were matted down after just, a few years of being walked on. So this really, I will say it did kind of loosen those fibers back up so that the individual pieces, I feel like they're like standing up again now, if that makes sense. So anyway, you'll see the final result in a little bit. But here I'm just trying to get the dirt that originally wasn't there, that I wouldn't have had to deal with if I had pressure washed the deck to begin with. And I only pressure wash the part here near where I'm working at this point because the deck goes on back farther. But I just wanted to get this part clean so I could clean the rug. And like I said, the rug itself wasn't terrible. We've had this rug for 2 years. It's not super, a super nice expensive rug. I do feel like it's pretty well made because at the end of this, I expected it to kind of curl up a lot and like lose its shape. And it's thicker than I really had thought, based on how much water it held and how long it wanted to hold the water. I really think it's a little better than I actually thought it was. So we bought this rug for, I think it was $150. It's an 8x10 at Ollie's 2 years ago. So like I said, I could have thrown it out if I was, felt like it was ruined. I could have done that. But I still feel like it had some life left. I still like the rug. If I went today and bought a rug, it would not probably look like this, but I still like it. It's, not offensive to me. All right, here, if you have a brush or something that you could use to like, rub the soap in, and, if you watch those professionals cleaning rugs, they'll have like a agitator machine that they run over it. I really think my rug would have gotten like 100% better. Like it would have been like new if I had had something like that. I obviously don't, and I would have had to pay somebody to do it then. This cost me little to nothing. A little bit of gas to put in the pressure washer. That soap I had bought to clean the carpet in our front room anyway, so I already had that, because that carpet's not a rug, it's carpet that's laid in the house. So I can't obviously pressure wash that. So I have bought that cleaner, and Zep products I have found. I've used a few things from them, and you can find it at Lowe's is where I find it. It may be other places too. But I have found it at Lowe's so far, everything I've used, and their products are really good. So I would recommend that. Okay, here's the satisfying part. I got a squeegee, and you'll see I'm in a different outfit. I had left while the soap was on to go get a squeegee. I think it was like 3 hours I was gone, but this rug was still soaking wet when I got back. So, and here's my daughter. She wanted to get in on the squeegee action, and she did it like really fast. I feel like I was trying to get deep, and she was more like just sliding right over the top to do it fast. But to each his own, however you guys want a squeegee. But this part, really, you see it, like the dirty water was just going to sit on top. So if I didn't have this squeegee to move it off of the rug, it just would have soaked back into the rug. So I think that's really important, to be able to push that dirty water away so it doesn't settle back in. All right, so that's the first run over it after it had soapy water. And then here is my daughter. She wanted to do some pressure washing too. So I was able to get a little better angle for you guys. But you can see, I mean, as it's moving, like you see it get really clean, but then it pushes that dirty water away, but it's still sitting on the rug. So I think I went over this 3 times and, squeegeed it each time. She's marking where she's gonna do it. I think I had squeegeed it each time, and then at the last squeegee, I really tried to go over it several times to get as much moisture out as possible. But yeah, at the end, it really looked good. Okay, here were my struggles. You'll see us here in a little while hang this on the railing. You can see to the left a little bit. My husband and I. Number one, that was a struggle. This thing was really heavy and hard to handle when it was wet. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna, if you have a rug of this size, you're gonna need help for sure. So we get it up there, and it was late in the afternoon at this point, so I knew it was going to have to sit there overnight. And I thought to myself, like, when it's not dripping anymore, then we need to lay it back down flat so that it doesn't, like, dry in that shape, and then it'd be hard to to get it to lay flat. So I thought, okay, once it's done dripping, then I'll lay it back onto the deck and let it finish drying, and that's all fine and good. So the next morning, I did that. It was not dripping anymore. It was still wet. You could definitely was still wet, but not dripping. And I felt like laying it out for the day, just that day, would have, gotten it as dry as it needed to get. Now, we're in South Carolina. It has been really humid here. It is August, early August right now. Of course, I think that's when this will go up, but that's when I'm filming it as well. It was very humid. It wasn't super sunny on this day either. You can see, there's not a ton of sunshine, so it was similar the next day. But here's what happened. We left the house for just a few minutes. We were running to pick up a couch at my sister's for our sons. Actually, 2 couches, one for each of our sons, that they didn't want anymore. And while we were gone, it started drizzling, and this rug got wet again. And there was nothing I could do at that moment, like nothing I could do about it. So after it finished raining, I came back out and I squeegeed it again and hoped that it would just finish drying. But the next day it's still wet. So then I think I squeegeed it again, waited a little while, but then I moved it myself. It wasn't soaking wet anymore at this point. I rolled it up, moved it by myself to the driveway, because our driveway gets hit by more sun. And it's also at an angle, so the water just slides down. So I put it in the driveway, and that did help a lot. And you could see it coming off the end of the rug onto the driveway. So every couple hours, I'd go out there and squeegee some more off the edges, because it was like pulling on the edge, kind of. So it did help. But that afternoon, it was supposed to rain again. And so my husband and I moved it to our basement and put a fan on it and left it overnight. So this is like 4 days later when I finally felt like it was almost dry. But even then, like, it was still a little damp. So I felt like it smelled a little, and my daughter was saying she could smell it in the basement. So I was worried it was going to mildew. I think it was just the smell of the rug wet. So if that makes sense, like a dog being wet just smells like a dog being wet. So I think it was just the smell of the rug being wet. But once it did dry fully, I sprinkled baking soda and like some carpet refresher powder, which also I think has baking soda in it, but it also like has a smell good, a perfume of some sort. So I sprinkled that all over it. I used a broom to like get it down into it, so I like swept over it to get it down into the fibers, and I left it for like half a day, and then I came back and vacuumed it up. And I do not smell it anymore. It's fully dry, and it's back in my living room now, and I don't smell it. So I think all is well, but I was worried there for a minute that I was just going to have to throw it away after all that work, But didn't have to throw it out. I think it's going to be good. The room that it's in could actually stand to have like a 9x12. There's room like under the couch for it to go farther towards the walls. So I may still buy a new rug for my living room. That's where this goes. And then put this like in one of my daughter's rooms or under my dining table or something like that. So I won't get rid of it if I do get something new for the living room. But I haven't decided what I want yet. So keeping my eyes out for a 9x13. Ross has really, or 9x12. Ross has really good prices on rugs. You can find a 9x12 in there for $150 typically. So, and I saw one and I liked it, but I really didn't want to spend the money that at that time. I needed to wait. So I waited, and of course it's gone. So anyway, I'm going to keep my eyes out, but this will stay in the living room until I decide what I want to do. But you can see, I mean, it's looking really good. Pressure washing it certainly is, you know, a good way to get it a lot cleaner. It just goes deep into the fibers and gets things out. I can still see some of the discoloration in that spot I was telling you about, that's like right at the corner of where people would be sitting on the sectional. And I had turned the rug a while before this so that different areas of the rug could get more worn, because they were all, I don't know, some parts were super worn and some parts weren't worn much at all. So I just wanted to get equally worn so that at least if it's all worn, it'll look, you know, it'll look bad everywhere. All right, so I'm done with that part, and you see my husband come help me. This is a struggle, y'all. We start to get it over here, and I think, oh, we're moving it pretty easy. But to get it lifted up over this rail, you'll see. I mean, we work on this for several minutes, and my husband is a strong guy. So you're going to need help. Maybe if you've only got like a 5x7, it wouldn't be nearly as bad. Or definitely a smaller rug than that should be a lot easier. But this one, and of course you see it's like stuck under something, and I'm still trying to pull it. So you guys can laugh at us here for a minute if you want. And then too, I just want to talk about the rug under, like on my deck, under that table. That is like a camping rug. I think it's like, it might be a 9x12. I think it is. But it's for like people who have RVs and they want a little rug out, you know, in front of the RV. So it's made of like a vinyl material, but we've had it out here for 3 years, I think. No, I don't know, several years. It's reversible, so one side has a lot more black and the other side has a lot more tan. They do make some in different colors. So you could get something with a different pattern or a lot more color. I know there's a green one that has kind of a leafy pattern, and I think there's a blue one that's got some kind of pattern. I can't remember. But they're at Walmart, $40 to $50 for a 9x12. And you just rinse them off, so they're really easy to maintain. But you see, it's been a struggle for us to get this rug on there. And it's gonna sit here and drip for a while. So we let it stay there, and I'm gonna show you guys a little close-up of it, just so you can see what it looks like. And I'm a mess. Alright, so here it is hanging up. But you can see, I mean, the fibers just look, you know, clean and kind of puffed back up and not matted down. And then here it is in the space again. Final product. I think it looks pretty good. So I would recommend doing this if you have one you really want to salvage and see if it's good. But that spot there is what used to be over here, right in front of our sectional where people would put their foot. So that's why it's a little darker. But all in all, I think this was probably a success, even though it didn't go as planned. But thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.